right, this week we're going to change the strings on a flathead mountain dulcimer. All you need is a set of strings. I'll be putting baritone strings back on this. Something to cut your strings with. Some sort of oil to condition and clean your fretboard. You don't have to do this, but it's an extra step that's nice. And a rag that will wipe everything down with, okay? So the first thing we need to do is just loosen our strings a tad. Okay, then we'll come back here just enough. You just need to loosen them just enough to take them off the ends. And there we go. And you can just go like that. It's a quick process. If it gets hung up, you can a lot of times just wiggle it around quite a bit and it'll come out. All right, and then we just take our strings and wind them up. I want you to know that you can do this. I find a lot of people who are hesitant to change their own strings, and it's really something you should be able to do. And you want to keep, you don't want to have strings on there for a year or something crazy like that. So now what we're going to do is condition. This is what I like to use. There's lots of different products out there. But I love this because it smells like lemon. So, first I'm just going to take my dry rag and wipe everything down to get any dust out of the way. That's on the instrument. Alright, we just get all the dust cleaned off of there. And next we're going to take our oil. And there's lots of good products for that. This one though, I will say this bottle has lasted me over 3 years already. And we're just going to put a little dot on each fret. We're not using much, less is more here. Then we will rub it in, being careful not to send your nut or bridge flying. There. And then once you have it rubbed in, just leave it there for a second and get a dry spot of the rag again. See, that's where it's wet. Get a dry spot of the rag and then just wipe it down again. And be sure you go this direction too to get anything out of there. You can see little dirt particles coming out. Wow, yeah, this one was dirty. All right, now that we've got everything wiped off, it's time for the new strings. Okay, and what I'll do first, it doesn't matter really what order you put them on in, but I'm just gonna go ahead and put the melody string on first. So we just unwind it here. And these are baritone strings, so they're much thicker and beefier than the regular strings. But here we go on the melody. So what we're gonna do, now you won't believe how fast this is. What we're gonna do is just come back here and Put the ball onto the pin, and we're gonna come like that. We're gonna keep pressure on it, so just put a finger down here. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna put it right here. So watch how quick and easy this is, you won't believe it. So what we're gonna do, anytime we have a flathead, the string always goes, it doesn't matter which string it is, it's always gonna go to the inside of the poles, okay? So it's gonna start from the inside and then go around the pole. So if it's here, it's gonna wrap this direction around the pole. And if it's here, it's gonna go from the inside and wrap this direction, okay? So always remember that, it goes to the inside first, okay? So now all I'm gonna do is I'm gonna wrap it. I'm not gonna put it through the hole, okay? So I'm gonna wrap it around the pole. 1, 2, 3. Then I'm gonna press down with my thumb to expose that hole. And then I'm just gonna feed it through and start pulling on it. And then I'm just gonna pull it tight, kind of quickly there. And pull it tight. And our string is on there. And now we can start twisting it. And we always want to twist it to where that string is going inside. Okay, so there we go. Now look how fast that was. All right, we've got a string on there already. So now we bring in our clippers. And once you get a little tension on it, then you can clip it. And it won't slip or anything like that. These flatheads are quick to change. Okay, so now we're gonna move on to our middle string. And if you don't have a baritone, wow, you're in for a treat if you try one out. All right, so middle string, we're gonna do the same thing. We're just gonna feed it in there and keep tension on it. And then we're gonna bring our finger down just to hold it, to hold that tension. And now you've got a decision to make if you're using 3 strings and it's just to use this pole or this pole. And I just like to have more tuners on this side. So I'm gonna just use this inside one again. So we're gonna go around 1, 2, 3. We're gonna find our hole and press down to access it, right? And we're just gonna come back in and feed it through that hole. And I'm keeping tension on it so that it will not come loose there. And then if it's thicker, like this one's thicker, you can just slowly feed it in there and pull it tight, keeping tension on it. And see, these are really thick and I can still do this. All right, so you pull it tight, then you wind it up several times to get some tension on there. And once I feel I've got good tension on there, I can cut my string. It's not gonna come loose. And I just leave a little tail. I don't leave a very long tail, but you don't want to poke yourself there. So we're almost done. We've got our heaviest string here. I think this is a 36. This is pretty thick. So what I'm going to show you here, I've just showed you how to wrap it around really easily. This one's not going to want to wrap, and it will on your standard dulcimer. So if you're changing strings on a standard dulcimer that's flathead, just use this method that I already showed you. Wrap it around the inside of the pole, right? It always goes to the inside, to the outside. Wrap it 3 times and through the hole, okay? So this one, we might not be able to wrap it. So I'm gonna show you an alternate way. And that is just to string it through, okay? Leaving some tension of a gap here. So what I've got is I've got my hand down. I've got my hand down on the string, keeping pressure this direction. And then I've just pulled up my hand width of slack there. Now remember, this is only if you're if you can't get the other way to work, probably because you're using too thick of a string, like the baritone or even a bass. So if that's the case, I'm just gonna do that, and then I start turning, and again, I want to turn inside so that it goes inside. Start turning, and I want to keep it down, so I'm just keeping it pulled back so that this excess will just wind around, and that this will be underneath. My loop is underneath where I sent it through the hole, okay? So I'll show you that in a second up close, but we're just gonna wrap it to where it goes under. But see, this takes a lot longer, so this is not the preferred method for me. But I wanted to show it to you in case you're using thicker strings, because the thicker strings are harder to wind around the pole. But this works just fine. Does take longer again, but you'll see the results right here in just a second. Okay, it works just the same. We just want to get some pressure on it. I'm going to show you it close so you can see how it's wound around there, and where the hole is, you want your winding to go below it. Okay. All right, so now we can cut it. And we are strung up. We're ready to tune it. And this, of course, being a baritone, will be tuned AEA. But there you go. There you have it. Quick and easy string change. And this method of wrapping it around the pole and just wrapping it around and not putting it through the hole until you're done is just super quick. I've used it on a bunch of different things, and it is not my idea. I found it on the internet of a guy changing a string on a mandolin, and I've used it on all different instruments. It works on everything. If you have the thicker strings, it is tougher. So this 36 right here, it's a 36, right? No, 34. This 34 was kind of pushing it. I probably could have gotten it around the pole, wrapping it, but I just wanted to be safe and do it the old school way. But there you go. I hope you enjoyed that. Don't be afraid to change out your strings. You can do this. And now your job is just to play the strings off of it. All right. See you next week.